Hello there. I've been asked a few times this week around vote transferring and how it works. Well, under MMP, it kind of doesn't. But I can see where the confusion has arisen. For a start, there's actually a voting system where votes can be transferred. That's STV, and that's a system that we use for a number of local body authorities where you rank your candidates instead of just ticking them. But MMP is much more of a binary choice. But it doesn't help that it's kind of a confusing system. For example, your local electorate MP is still voted on using first past the post. They might not necessarily win the majority of votes from across the political spectrum, but the winner will always be the person who has the most votes in one go. That that's a bit of an outdated system. At the same time, there's two MMP rates, and that could be where some of the confusion comes from. You see, there's a general MMP rate, which is what we'll discover on October 14. It's how everybody votes, and it's what the political breakdown is of those party votes that everybody who casts a ballot puts into place. But there's an effective MMP rate that is only applicable to those that meet the criteria to get into Parliament, because it's how we decide how Parliament is made up. The effective rate only kicks in when an MP is elected to an electorate or a party gets over 5% of the general vote. And then the breakdown happens inside Parliament based on what the percentages were that those that get to Parliament bring with them. See how confusing this is? So, for example, if every one of those 8 freedom parties got 4.9% of the party vote, not that that's going to happen, but if it did, that's 29% of the general population vote that doesn't make it into Parliament. So that 29% isn't just left empty in the seat so that nobody is representing them. It's redistributed amongst those that did make the criteria. It doesn't change how many people are going to get in because it's based on the percentage that they've won that they take into Parliament. There's a little bit of adjustment that goes on. Generally, the percentage jumps up a little bit, like 0.01% when a party gets into Parliament to basically make it fit for our 120 seats. It is such a confusing sounding system, but essentially, those that hit the threshold to get into Parliament, what we've done as a general voting population is dictate how many seats they get in, and it's adjusted for the 120 seats that are around the parliamentary floor. So, if you're looking at voting for, say, a minor party that might not necessarily get into Parliament, that's entirely your right. And it's important that you have your say and that you make sure people know what you want to have happen going forward for the country. But if they don't get in, there unfortunately isn't a way of moving your vote somewhere else. Or if somebody does get in and you want to vote for one of those minor parties that might not make it, it's really a binary choice of who you're going to vote for. That's who you vote for.